We know that over the last year, children have been at home, they've been sequestered, they have not been allowed to go to school or be in crowds. And so now that the state of Connecticut has done so well with the vaccination rates and things are starting to open, we want children to get back out, to play, to be kids, and to get outdoors. And with that comes some additional hazards. And so we want to talk about how do we let children be children, but keep them safe at the same time. We are a pediatric health system, and we do have a program, the Connecticut Children's Injury Prevention Center, because we are very concerned with children's safety, and we would prefer that children not need the medical center, that they stay healthy and safe year-round. So today we're going to hear from some advocates of children, including our own injury prevention experts, and some very important steps that parents can take to keep their children safe. But first, I'm very pleased to introduce Senator Richard Blumenthal, who has been a very strong advocate for children and for families.
For hot cars, there is a very easy prevention remedy. Look before you lock. Is there a child in the back seat? Is anybody in the back seat, for that matter? Because cars can overheat to 120 degrees literally in minutes. Cars can become death traps during the summer. In this weather, cars will overheat to 120 or 130 degrees while you're shopping, while you're talking to a neighbor outside the post office, while you're doing an errand. A child can become a victim. And literally every year, more than 50 children perish because of overheated cars. Now, there's technology that will help prevent it. And I've introduced a bill called the Hot Cars Act that, in fact, has been approved by the Commerce Committee just within the past weeks. So it would become law and require cars to have technology that has sensor mechanisms, sensor imaging that will sound an alert or a warning. Already some car manufacturers include it. All of them should. That's why I've introduced and fought for the legislation. But parents should also be on alert, on guard, so that their children avoid this kind of cataclysmic occurrence. We know it happens because it's happened here in Connecticut.
Hi, I'm Dr. Leslie Nod, one of the pediatric trauma surgeons at Connecticut Children's Hospital. I want to share a few tips to keep your kids safe this summer. One, talking about playgrounds, fireworks, but also lawnmowers, things that are common this summer, especially with the 4th of July weekend coming. I'm sure we'll all enjoy some fireworks. Let's talk about some ways to do it safely to keep our kids at home and out of the hospital. Certainly, if you need us, we'll be here. For playground equipment, it can get very hot in the summertime. Give it the touch test. If the slide is hot, if you touch it, it's too hot for the kid. They can have an instant contact burn just by going down the slide if it's too hot. Same thing for barefoot children. We love to enjoy the grass under our feet, but if they're walking on the decks, on pavement, just touch the ground and see if it's too hot. It can also cause an instant contact burn on their feet. We're going to be mowing our lawns this summer. Let's keep the kids away from the lawnmowers. The safest place for a child when you're mowing the lawn is actually indoors. Not only can they potentially be injured by the blades underneath the lawnmower, falling off a riding lawnmower if they're in your lap. In your lap is not a safe place for the kids to be if you're on a riding lawnmower. But even the projectiles, a rock underneath the blades of a lawnmower can be a projectile with significant force and can cause injury to your children. So the safest place for them when you're mowing, until they're old enough to push the mower themselves, which is by AAP recommendations, 12 years old for a push mower and 16 years old for a riding mower. So until they can do that chore themselves, keep them indoors. The final one with the 4th of July holiday coming up is fireworks. Sparklers are the most common firework. We love holding them in our hands. I don't want them to burn those hands though. So children 5 to 9 years of age have the highest injury rate with fireworks. So please keep your kids safe. Don't let them light the fireworks. Make sure it's a very supervised environment, and stay safe and enjoy this weekend.
I'd like to share why water safety is so important and provide you with some tips to ensure that your time in and around the water this July 4th weekend and throughout the summer is as much fun and safe as possible. First, let me share some important statistics. Last year, during the height of the pandemic, backyard pool sales increased by 400% according to some sources. While it's exciting to see more people experience the joys of swimming, drowning prevention experts like myself worry that children may be at an even greater risk of drowning this summer because historically most drownings occur in home pools, especially for younger children who are drowning at the highest risk. Why? This is due to a lapse in supervision. It's not a lack of supervision, but a lapse in supervision. Parents don't realize that a child has snuck into the pool area or has fallen in. Whether swimming in your own backyard pool, at the beach, or elsewhere, it is essential that water and swim safety be top of mind. We can't let our excitement to catch up with friends and family, although it's been a long time, distract us and cause a lapse in supervision with devastating consequences. This is particularly important because drowning is the leading cause of accidental death for children between the ages of 1 and 4, and the second leading cause of unintentional death for children under the age of 14. It's crucial that families build layers of protection to prevent drowning. The Zach Foundation calls these layers of protection the A, B, C's, and D's of water safety. A is for adult supervision. Don't rely on a lifeguard as your first line of defense, and designate an adult water watcher whose sole responsibility is to watch children while they're in or around the water. Adult water watchers should be within arm's length of the child under supervision. Talk to your children. Tell them not to go near any body of water without an adult, and teach them what it feels like to swim without puddle jumpers. Puddle jumpers are Coast Guard approved life jackets that can give your children a false sense of security that they can swim. If there should be an unintended access to unsupervised swimming, we want to be sure that children know what it feels like to swim without one when they are not proficient swimmers.
As public servants, our responsibility is not only to enforce the law, but also to educate the motorists on some of the dangers that exist and some of the more hazardous and aggressive driving behaviors. With warmer weather on the rise, we could definitely expect to see an increase in motor vehicles on our Connecticut road. And as Connecticut State Police troopers, our top priority is not only our Connecticut residents, but all those traveling in and out of our great state. It's reported that there are 300,000 incidents of drinking and driving a day, which ultimately results to 121 million incidents a year. We'd be naive to think that Connecticut is immune to this issue. During last year's enforcement period for the July 4th holiday, state police arrested 29 individuals for the violation of operating a motor vehicle under the influence of drugs and/or alcohol. So going into this year's July 4th weekend, we just want to make sure that everyone's remaining safe. A few tips. If you are going to be engaging in any activity with friends and family, which I know that a lot of us are eager to do, we just ask that you remain safely, do so safely. If you are going to be taking part in any type of drinking activities, we're asking that you plan ahead, utilize a rideshare program, or appoint a designated driver to get you to and from, as opposed to getting behind the wheel of a vehicle and making those life-altering decisions that could affect not only your life, but the lives of those around you. There's no reason to get behind the wheel of a vehicle if you are impaired. And to motorists throughout the weekend, your instincts and intuitions are often the best indicators of any type of potential issue. So if you suspect anyone to be under the influence of drugs and or alcohol while operating a vehicle, please do not hesitate to contact 911. Contact 911 immediately and protect yourself, but also protect those around you.
Together we seek to reverse the trend of rising deaths and injuries of our most vulnerable road users. Walking and bicycling are fun and often necessary ways that people in our community get around. Unfortunately, around 1,500 pedestrians and 550 bicyclists are involved in crashes with vehicles each year in Connecticut, resulting in more than 60 deaths. And sadly, these numbers continue to climb. Nationally, more than 6,700 pedestrians were killed, making 2020 a year with the largest ever annual increase in pedestrian fatality rate in U.S. history. Though it's always important for pedestrians to use caution when crossing the road, we want to remind drivers that they hold the key to saving lives. Here are some basic tips to help you drive safely near people who are walking and biking. Most importantly, slow down, especially in areas where people are likely to be. Give enough room when passing people who are walking or bicycling along the side of the road. Look out for pedestrians and don't assume that you've been seen. Stop for anyone in a crosswalk and be patient with older pedestrians who may take longer to cross. Don't stop in the crosswalk and don't pass cars that are stopped at a crosswalk. There may be a pedestrian that you can't see. Make sure you come to a complete stop, especially before a right on red. Often pedestrians have the walk sign, so they may be crossing. Thank you, and please drive safely around our young and old bicyclists and pedestrians.